It has been a gigantic fiscal year for Digimon, with of course the hype and release of Digimon Story Time Stranger and its first set of DLC, the closed beta for Digimon Alysion and the TCG, toys and much more, and now Toei and Bandai have released their report on the fiscal year 25-26, which has spelled out a great increase for the Digimon franchise and has firmly settled it at the top of Toei and Bandai's properties. But as we head into the 30th anniversary of Digimon in 2027, can they keep the crown? And can they even improve? What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to another video. And yes, we have got the release of Toei and Bandai Namco's fiscal reports for the year 25-26. The reason they do it this way is because that's kind of how the tax years work. Like, for example, in the UK, the tax year goes from April to April. I want to thank With the Will and the Digimon TCG 2020 news bot from that server. It is phenomenal. If you've got a Discord server dedicated to Digimon, I would definitely recommend getting it. Obviously, this is all translated because the original fiscal year report is in Japanese. So a little bit of sadness to begin with is that Toei Animation and Toei in general are down on consolidated sales, but they want to expand earnings of key titles from expanding global rollout, and Digimon was mentioned as one of those titles. But net profit was up. It's also confirmed that overseas licensing has increased, with Digimon being one that was mentioned in that category. Toei also said that Time Stranger performed well in their international copyright section and in their licensing and merchandising section, again in overseas areas. Specifically for Toei Animation, Digimon Adventure itself, not all of Digimon, but Digimon Adventure, is one of their 4 flagship franchises alongside Dragon Ball, One Piece and Pretty Cure. And they did highlight that merchandising and licensing sales from Digimon Adventure and One Piece were important. They also covered Digimon Beat Break as one of their 7 airing anime, and Digimon was actually 4th in overseas film this fiscal year. So Beat Break is definitely working outside of Japan. And this is the big one. Digimon is firmly in their top 3 franchises in overseas licensing again. So outside of Japan, Toei's big 3 are One Piece, Dragon Ball, and Digimon. That is insane. Like, I know it's not the big 3 across all anime and production studios, but for Digimon to be up there on the top 3 with Dragon Ball and One Piece is insane. And this, of course, is likely grown by specifically Digimon Story Time Stranger and Digimon Beat Break. But moving over into Bandai Namco's fiscal reports, because remember, Digimon is kind of co-owned by Toei and Bandai. They, of course, also said that Time Stranger drove new sales in this fiscal year, and the Digimon card game is particularly doing well in North America, which makes sense because that's kind of one of the main places they put a lot of focus into, and the American audience seems to eat it up. I wish we could get the same kind of response and treatment in the UK. Now, this doesn't mean that Digimon is like one of the biggest franchises on the earth or anything like that, but it's clear that Toei and Bandai Namco are pleased with its result, even if overall their businesses are a little bit down in some areas. This definitely to me indicates we're going to see much more Digimon in the future, especially anime, though we may get specifically more Digimon Adventure anime stuff, which, well, I was actually going to talk about Digimon Adventure 13 Plus, the treatment that Kakado wrote, one of the key figures in Digimon Adventure, which is what was kind of the background story to Digimon Adventure Beyond. Unfortunately, after reading through the translations of Kakado's blog, which has all 3 parts, it's just a mess, featuring nonsensical cameos, an attempt at resolving the Dark Ocean, but not actually, and some other things which just were very boring to read through. I decided not to make a video on this, but if you want to go check out my boy Corey from the DigiKnow, he did a breakdown and kind of review. It was very well put together, and as soon as I saw his, I was like, I got nothing more to say, so go check out Corey. Let's get him to 100k this year. I'm going to talk about more games in a second. Digimon updates, nice. Digimon Alysion and the Digimon Story Time Stranger large-scale expansion DLC that's coming out in 2027. But first, we've had a couple of pieces of news about Digimon toys. First of all, the Digimon Real Data Collection is continuing. We, of course, had a Tyrannomon earlier in the year, but now we have a Veedramon. And I do like how faithful to the reference book art these figures are, but while I wasn't in love with Tyrannomon, I am much more tempted by Veedramon because it's a Digimon that I really love. And of course, the Beat Break and Data Squad / Savers starter decks for Digimon card game just came out alongside BT25 Jewel Revolution. A lot of this will be available in your stores, like for example, Veedramon is on Premium Bandai, TCG can be in shops of course, but I can't pre-order Veedramon Real Data Collection figure because I don't live in a country that's supported by Premium Bandai, and that's where of course today's sponsor ZeninTCG came in to support this segment of the video. As you know, ZeninTCG is your one-stop shop for Digimon and anime goods plus more. And like I say, I can't use Premium Bandai to pre-order anything, so I have to use a third party, and I've loved the support from ZeninTCG. They of course have got the Digimon Real Data Collection Veedramon figure up for pre-order. This is supposed to release September to October of this year, so get your pre-orders now. It is a really nice looking figure. They also are starting to support the English version of the TCG, so check their websites to pick up booster boxes, etc. And they're also, if you're a Tamagotchi and Digimon fan, stocking a ton of Tamagotchi Paradise stuff for you to peruse. So hey, thanks for ZeninTCG for allowing me to get a pre-order on stuff that I wouldn't normally be able to. Check them out if it seems interesting to you, and let's get on with it. Alright, Digimon updates. We've actually got quite a few this week, which is nice. Last time I talked about this, the goal was to hit 100,000 pre-registrations and get a Gekomon, and we succeeded, though it appears to be a support Digimon, not a partner Digimon. That's a shame. Technically, we have seen a full evolution line for Gekomon already. I won't put the Mega in case you don't want spoiling, so I don't really know why this couldn't be a partner in time for this game's release, but it is what it is. They then showed off that Palmon, Patamon, Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode, Gatomon, and Guilmon will be in the game. All no-brainers, I think. But then they announced a part 2 to the pre-registration goals, and this one's a little more odd. For 200,000 pre-registrations, we'll get Great Digimeat Seeds ×3. 300,000 gets us 2,000 Digi Emeralds, which are of course going to be gacha related or, microtransactions normally. And 400,000 will get us 1,000 hologram tickets. Is that support related? I don't know. But the 500,000 goal is Numemon. Now listen, I like Numemon, right? We saw it in the initial beach teaser before Digimon Con. It was very obviously going to be in the game. I don't know whether this is a partner Numemon or a support Numemon, but it feels very funny to me to include a Digimon, which I know a lot of people actually love, but is obviously like historically a kind of bad end evolution if you don't take care of your Digimon properly. It's very silly and memey, which is why I think it's hilarious that for 500,000 registrations we get Numemon, but for only 100,000 we get Gekomon, the partner of the brand new airing anime. I feel like I would have gone with Gamamon, but you know what, fair enough guys. We actually already hit 200,000 pre-registrations as of about 5 days ago on May 19th, so everyone gets the Great Digimeat Seeds, and this does mean everyone, not just if you pre-registered. If you download the game, I guess within launch week, month, I don't know, or maybe forever, you will get all of the bonuses we've got so far. And while I was finishing up this video, they confirmed that we hit 300,000 pre-registrations, so everyone gets 2,000 Digi Emeralds, and they put my boy Wormon on the picture. Yippee! Also, as an update, I did say previously that there was a potential this game would release on July 28th because the Apple App Store says it's due to be released by July 28th. I always said this was possible and far from a dead cert, but it was something to explore. However, Digimon App actually went out of their way to release a statement saying, "Notice, the release date indicated on app stores is a placeholder and does not represent the official release date. Keep following the Digimon App official social media accounts for the latest news, and please wait for our official announcement." This really puts us into a bit of a quandary now, because is the game going to come out way before July 28th? Is it going to come out on Odaiba Day on August 1st, or further into the year? This to me feels like a bit of a summer release, so I'd really like it if it did come out in June or early July, maybe again around Time Stranger's release on Switch and Switch 2, but we truly now have no actual idea when this is going to release. However, given how much promotion the game is going to get, it's either a fixed release date or they're just going to go until they're done with their pre-registration campaign, unless it seems like that's slowing down and they're not going to hit it. If we do know Digimon Alysion is supposed to release by December of this year, they might still try and space them apart, even though, as I've said before, they're not the same departments. I still see this being more likely between now and September and not further into the year. Really hoping for that Odaiba Day release though. Speaking of Digimon Alysion, there hasn't been a ton. Of course, like I say, the other day we did find out that it's definitely releasing by December 2026, so keep an eye on that. But continuing in the games department, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory have now been confirmed to sell over 3 million copies worldwide. Thank you to all Cyber Sleuths and hackers who have supported this title. Start your Digimon Story today with the complete edition on deep discount for a limited time. Unfortunately, I think by the time this video goes out, that discount has gone. Sorry. This is really great news. Now, bear in mind, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory have been out for like almost a decade, and have both had individual releases and combined complete edition releases. It does say on the image 3 million plus, because obviously it's going to be like 3,100,000 or 3,005,000 or something. But don't feel disappointed that Time Stranger only has 1 million recorded sales right now. First of all, it's probably getting close to 2 million as it is, and of course the Switch versions are coming out too, which I think are definitely going to push it into the 2 million. So you've got to consider that if Time Stranger is probably close to 2 million in less than a year right now, and Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory have taken the best part of a decade to get there, you can definitely see how Time Stranger is likely to keep racking up the numbers. Sony also announced a new State of Play on June 2nd, just before Summer Game Fest, which seems to be massive. I will of course be live streaming it, and I'll be live streaming Summer Game Fest and all stuff like that. They're showing this State of Play at Alamo Draft Houses. They're really hyping it up. They're announcing it like a couple of weeks before it comes out. So I do think there's going to be something significant here, but obviously I don't think that's going to be Digimon Story Time Stranger's new DLC. I would love to be wrong here, but first of all, to be frank, when there was a big piece of Digimon news last year, I was of course invited invited to Summer Game Fest by Bandai Namco and Summer Game Fest themselves to check out Digimon Story Time Stranger. Now, it's not impossible that I'd be secluded from this round if there was big news, but I feel like I'd at least have had some indication there. Again, not trying to blow my own trumpet or anything like that, just what I would assume. But then again, you know, it's just a DLC versus the launch of a full game, so there's still a possibility that DLC is present at the State of Play or at Summer Game Fest. However, personally, I don't believe we're going to see any Time Stranger updates in June for anything besides the Switch 1 and 2 ports, which are coming out the month after. It's also potentially a while until the large-scale DLC. Even if it comes out the earliest it could, January 2027, that's still 7 months from now. Just feels too early to start that promo. I wouldn't expect any updates until after July 10th on the DLC, but honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if we got news as late as Digimon Con next year, depending on when it's supposed to launch. We truly don't know. We're back in the wild area of Digimon news, and to feedback off the fiscal reports that I talked about at the start of the video, we're about to enter the 30th anniversary of Digital Monster, the original V-Pets, in 2027, and historically Bandai and Toei have celebrated these big anniversaries, not just of the anime, but of Digimon itself. So given that will be the fiscal year 2026 moving into the 2027 fiscal year, I feel like we're going to get a lot of celebrations, but I wouldn't expect things to launch until perhaps after April, just so they can have a really successful 2027-2028 fiscal year. But again, we know there's a bunch of stuff coming out this year already, so it's not impossible that January, February, March of next year also have cool Digimon stuff, because the sales revenue from that will of course carry forward into the next fiscal year. I'm personally hoping for a really cool new V-Pet of some variety, and while less likely with the promo for Time Stranger still going on, I would like them to announce some kind of new Digimon game, like a world game or something like that. But anyway, that's it for today. Digimon is definitely in a good spot and is highlighted a good few times in fiscal reports. It's in the top 3 of Toei anime, which is pretty crazy. And we still got so much stuff coming out this year and into the next year. It's phenomenal. Hey, thank you to my sovereigns over on patreon.com/Karn EX, EDK14, and Jeremy Babineau. You guys are phenomenal. As well as everyone else who supports me over on Patreon. It really is one of the best ways to support me on YouTube. But you can also support me directly on YouTube via my YouTube channel memberships. You get early access to videos, a bunch of other stuff, exclusive emojis you can use in my live stream chats and my comments. So thank you to everyone who supports me. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.